Glenn, Richard asks, can you go into a deeper level with some product examples of what companies are doing? Um, what do actual product solutions look like?
I mean, obviously, it's very hard to generalize across such an insanely and infinitely fragmented landscape of different types of equipment and domains and so forth. But think of it this way: I was on the board of a business several years ago that figured out how to make shaped circuits. So if you imagine a molded piece of plastic with a circuit embedded in it, you could retrofit sensing capabilities and other data collection capabilities into all sorts of odd shapes that would fit into pre-existing designs. So I don't have to, as the OEM, I don't have to redesign the whole piece of equipment in order to get to, the ability to retrofit new capabilities, particularly sensing. They started figuring out how to build this into plastic objects in homes for energy use was one place they went after. And, so if you think about a wall socket, the rim around the wall socket had an ARM9 processor in it. And so I could asynchronously collect data off that electrical socket, in real time and do local processing on that data. And the same concepts that we talked about earlier about edge in a manner that allows me to know a lot of things. And so if I just think of what are people doing with products? All these products essentially have some primary purpose, some secondary residual value, and often a tertiary point of leverage. And so if I just take the wall plug example, its primary purpose is, largely to control electricity and the cost of electricity and its use. If you think of the secondary purpose, just consider the value of, so I can measure electrical current coming off that. And the best example of this, if you took a copy machine or a washing machine, you plugged it into that intelligent socket, you could monitor and analyze the electrical current and tell the difference between, just by that electrical current signal, essentially the difference between a color copy being made on the copier versus a black and white, or a load of colors in the washing machine doing laundry versus whites. And so being able to, convert these residual data values that come off of these devices is kind of this amazing state-setting device, which eventually leads you to the data that allows you to leverage that. And if I stick with an appliance example, if I remember correctly, most consumers, like over 50%, don't repurchase the same refrigerator, washer, dryer, white good appliance, et cetera. They don't repurchase the same brand. And so all those OEMs, all those manufacturers of those white goods and appliances are all desperate for understanding what does the machine actually get used for, how does it get used, and when. And if I can see into that kind of window of usage, I can come up with new design values that I can design into that machine that create that third tier value. So if you think of those primary, secondary, tertiary values, and you apply that to anything, that's the progression that any of these systems will go through. So monitoring is, is the thing on, and is it doing what it's supposed to do? And move to that secondary state and tertiary state, you're starting to get into the physics of the machine, which reveals quite a few values. You think of this in any systemic context. It's the collection of those values from all those machines as you get deeper into what goes on inside them and how they get used to create compound values from the collective data that comes from those systems.